Hello everyone, my name is Mildred and I am the creator of this page, and I'm making this video because I saw that Madai Samora made a video a couple days ago regarding any uh, questions you may have, and she might answer them in a video form. So I think that's a great idea. I don't know where she's from, but I am from Aguascalientes. It's a small city in a small state, and I thought it would be interesting for us to pitch in our experiences because they may be similar, they may be different. So I've been here about 7 months, and what is interesting about my situation is I am an online ESL teacher, so I do work from home. And I see that most of the questions on her video are regarding jobs. Now, what I could say about it is that there are jobs. You just kind of have to go out there and look for them. And it really depends on what type of industry you want to work in and your background. Um, Even here in this small state, there's been a lot of postings on call centers. So call centers are kind of a big part now of speaking English. I know it's very popular in Mexico City and in Guadalajara, and here it's kind of starting to pick up. My advice on jobs would be to go to indeed.com.mx and type in where you want to work and kind of what you want to do. And it will give you a gauge of what jobs are out there. It's not 100%, but I think it'll give you a pretty good feel of what you can get. The cost of living, I think, is relatively cheap. Um, I think one of the more expensive things for us is gasoline. I have a Ford Explorer that we actually brought back from the States. And yeah, it's pretty expensive to buy gas. Food is pretty cheap. Utilities are also pretty cheap. Many houses have solar panels now, so that cuts your cost a lot. Rent, I feel like rent is relatively okay. It's not expensive, it's not cheap. I am renting a two-story house, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, my office, a garden. It has its nice private parking area, and I'm paying 6,500 pesos, so like $300 ish. But I live in a more bougie area, kinda. So if you're willing to, or if you're okay with living in an apartment, I think you can cut your cost of living a lot. It's not that expensive. Again, it just depends how fancy you're willing to go. And I say this because it's different. The neighborhoods vary a lot from one. It's not even they're not even towns. They're colonias. So it's like I live in a colonia, and like literally across the street is another colonia that's very different. So it just depends on evaluating how you want to live, where you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to have. But overall, long answer short is that I think it's pretty affordable if you have a steady income and at least two people are working in your home. Crime is an interesting question because we have crime here, thefts. I think that's really the big one, thefts. Not like gunpoint robberies, but like they break into your house. But again, that's more in the shadier parts of colonias. But if you're referring to drug violence, I don't hear it. I don't see it. I'm not saying it's not here. I'm just saying that as a citizen, I don't really see it out in the streets. I don't hear about it. Nobody really mentions anything. And this is different because if you go to another part of Mexico, this may be completely not the case. So, again, do some research on where you want to live. If you want to live with family in a state, and kind of ask them, research about it. Um, what I did was I joined some expat Facebook groups that really helped me kind of gauge some things. What I did too, again with the jobs before I came here, was I joined a Aguascalientes job posting site, and that kind of really helped me see what jobs are most popular, and again see if you can kind of make some connections. You see a job you like or an industry that you like, maybe contact that person. It doesn't really hurt to start making those connections. How hard was it to adjust? For me, it was pretty easy because I came with an open mind that Mexico is not the US. They're not sisters, they're not anything. They're like apples and oranges. They're two separate beings. And I think that really helped me adjust because I knew it wasn't the same and it wasn't going to be the same. What are the good job fields here? A good job field is you having your own business. I personally, from what I see from my family members' experience, I feel like that having your own business is really very freeing. You have a lot of security in a way, and you kind of manage your own time. That's what me and my brother are trying to do. We're trying to open up a brick factory, and it's a challenge, but I feel like that's really one way to have steady income. What recommendations would I have? I would ask myself when I left. I was like, okay, I'm leaving, and am I okay with it? Am I okay with not coming back? Am I okay with leaving this? Am I okay with a fresh new start? Do I have any doubts? Do I feel like this is not the time? If you answered no, then it's probably not a good idea to come back because you're gonna have such a harder time coming to terms with what you left behind. And that's kind of what my mom struggles with, the idea that she left that life behind and that it's not the same, that she can't get it back. So that's my biggest advice, is just be ready for a change, be open to it. uh, Criticize, but don't criticize too much, if that makes sense. Again, if you have any children, kind of be prepared to do the paperwork before. I came with my pets. We drove. I got all the documents ready. I went to the vet. They didn't ask any of that. If you want to bring your vehicles, your household goods, do some research in moving companies. Again, I'm from California. If you're from here, I could give you some references. If not, just look into it. If you have a profession, if you're a nurse, if you are that, I would recommend you looking into revalidating your studies. I did that while I was there, and then I did that while I was here, and it's a process. It's not as easy. I'm here. Here's my U.S. diploma, and you can't expect people to be like, "Oh my God, welcome, come in, come in." Revalidating your studies is another whole thing. If you want me to talk about it, let me know. I can definitely help you with that. Do I want to return to the US, or do you feel like you have a future here? I feel like this question, again, let me reiterate in case you didn't hear. Do you want to return to the US, or do you feel like you have a future there? Actually, both of these questions are a yes for me. Um, my boyfriend is a US citizen, and we're actually planning on getting married in December. So I know in some time in the future, 2 years, maybe 3 years, depending on how the paperwork goes, I will go back. But again, I came with the mentality that, like, okay, let's say we break up, we split. I am okay with just living here. I do see a future here. And I feel like if you are hardworking, again, have an open mind and are willing to try new things, I feel like there's a future here. My family lives pretty well. My cousin, actually one of my cousins, she travels all around the world. My other cousins have been to Europe, they go to the USA, they go to Canada, and it's just kind of you willing to make something of this new opportunity. Try to make it work, try to see what works with you. Uh-huh. Okay, and somebody asked if they will if obtaining their bachelor's. Again, the whole ballot revalidating thing is interesting. Let me know if you have any opinions, comments, if you have any other specific questions. All right, thanks, and I'll see you later. Bye.